type of radio that is. What are we looking at here?
Well, yeah, here's the explanation part. So, I routinely run Linux on my main computer, and I've begun running Linux on my POTA laptop that I take out for various activations and things. Sometimes I take it to winter field day. And you encounter all sorts of radios, and what this is it is a front end to a library called HamLib. And what HamLib has is the ability to interface with basically every rig on planet Earth via cat control. What a HamLib does not have is a competent front end platform agnostic, meaning it runs on Windows, Mac, or Linux, user interface that's graphical. Now, FLRig covers some of this, but FLRig is not getting any newer, we'll put it that way. And a lot of the rigs that HamLib supports are not necessarily supported by FLRig. So what I'm aiming to do here is I'm working on, and it's going to take quite some time, but this is a working example of a HamLib front end GUI that is actually web-based, but will be, at the end of the day, installable on a person's computer, and you'll be able to run this and control whatever rig you have via cat control. And hopefully this will be just kind of a newer implementation of rig control than perhaps FLRig and various aging libraries that it's based on are able to provide. So I'm working on this, and it's coming along rather nicely so far, but this is probably about, I don't know, a week's worth of work to get up.
Boy, that is sorely needed, Jay. I'm familiar with HamLib. I use it a lot. And I had to get Direwolf compiled with it to, I think it was, use it on my Linux platform. And, oh no, on my Windows platform. I had to use it, I think, on the Linux. I had it with it. And I know that the FTA WS, I get dyslexic on those letters, they use it. Wow. I will be very interested when you get this done to have this. This is going to be a really cool thing when you get it done, Jay. Charles, WD8PBS, comment.
That's really high tech. It's going to be pretty neat. I've spent so much time fighting with computers now. I think I've been left behind in the smoke by everybody else.
Yeah, and I know. I think the latest HamLib is. I won't have it on this in front of me. I just upgraded to the latest. It seems like there would have been better support for that and a number of other options besides HamLib. You see it a lot, and when it works fine. So it's going to be really useful when you get it done. Man, KF8 CHS, Rob, comment. W8RQS, the comment.
Well, I always say I'm retired, but I don't know if I've got enough time to do the stuff that Jay does. And it's interesting to me that there are so many ham operators, and it seems we all have certain other talents that we use with ham radio. So, very interesting, and looks like you got a nice project to work on, Jay. W8RQS, back to net.
Yeah, absolutely. WAA, LMS, Steven, comment.
This is WAH-LMF. How does this panel interface to the library? Is it via IP or something else?
Go ahead, you guys can go direct.
N0Y, yeah, it's by a DCP socket, which is the default way that Hamlet communicates with the various software programs that use it.
Oh, good. So that means that if one's out in the boondocks, one could run this virtual front panel on a mobile laptop and have the ham lib that it's connecting to be back home at the fix station.
Yeah, that's 100% correct, and as a matter of fact, you know, you wouldn't want to, obviously you wouldn't want to expose your hamlib instance to the public internet. Although you could do that, and I, you know, am doing that for development purposes, but generally speaking, you would want to use some sort of VPN or some such method so that your hamlib and then thus your radio aren't just hanging out on the internet for people to use. One thing hamlib does not have is an interface to secure it. And so if you open that port to the world, anyone that figures out what your IP address is all of a sudden has the ability to go pirate on your radio. So a VPN is well in order.
When I do this kind of stuff, I always use weird ports that are up in the 40s or 50s thousands, so that I never expose one of these things on a low-numbered default port. But another thing, are you going to put any provision in this thing for the audio transport, or is this strictly the cat control?
Current implementation is strictly cat control, but the stretch goal after the cat control is all ironed out. That's the primary goal, and I'm not going to touch anything until that's all ironed out. But the stretch goal is going to be for radios with an LCD, high-resolution LCD display on it. Should be able to display that. And then also provisions for audio back and forth along with the PTT that's already in there, so you can actually use, for example, single sideband or a digital mode. Although digital modes would be difficult remotely because of latency, but sideband is just voice is absolutely on the menu.
I've been running digital modes remotely. This is over the remote rig, which is a dedicated hardware-based remote control system that has 2 boxes with microcontrollers in them, and you take the front panel of the radio and plug it into the remote box, and then connect the other box to the port on the chassis of the radio back home. And it actually dials up SIP connection, like an internet phone call, when you activate the remote box. Anyway, its codecs are good enough that I've had no trouble running digimodes through it, unless you have modes that depend on really fast-fire turnaround, like Packet or Pactor, but Slowscan TV and most of the modes in FL Digi, I've had no trouble at all passing over the public internet from my phone back to the home station, even when I was on the other side of the country.
All right, well, guys, that I am totally intrigued with this, and oh man. Plus, you end up with multiple instances of hand lift when you're running it statically all over here. So it'd be nice to have one repository. And I imagine the context of how this is working for different radios would be a huge lookup table somewhere in there, a big LUT that it transposes all the commands to what each radio would require, and probably give you the ability to update multiple radios at one time with any new features. So I like this, Jay. Yeah. Nice work. Okay, let's see. We're at the end of the list. I'm wondering, is there anyone else that would like to join us in tonight's Slow Scan TV Net? This is Rick, KCA LOQ, Net Control. Please call now. Alrighty, well, let's see. KFACHS, Rob, I think it's your turn for an image.
KFACHS, I'm going to send this and then do this brief description afterwards. This will be Scotty 2 with a
Got a chance to see Jason's setup. Isn't that amazing, Rob? And I think that's Donna with you, am I correct?
KFACHS. Yeah, if you'll recall, I gave Jason my phone number at the end of last week's net. Him and I texted afterwards and compared schedules throughout the week, and Saturday just worked out great. That's Rhonda and I with Jason. Just call it KFACHS. I was totally unaware of the sugar push supply. So I took Rhonda there. She was kind of surprised. She didn't know either. She was dabbling and doing a little bit of reflection from free screen early on. And then after we went out and met with Jason, we saw his setup. Currently she's tapping 90. And yeah, what he's got going on out there is pretty impressive to see when he's been getting training has evolved over the years, and he got some thoughts to it. That's when I had the breakfast this morning, and it was so
It is, Rob. It's the best I've ever had. I know. I got to get out there and get some before he sells it all. It is great stuff. Charles, WDA-TBS, a comment.
WABBI, repeater.
WDA-TBS. As magnificent. Every time you talk about the syrup, I just jealous. Yeah, I did some too. Great stuff, and looks like you had a really good time. The image is perfect.
got a very impressive setup. NT0Y, Jay, a comment.
NT0Y, well, that's awesome you were able to get out there and see his setup there. And as we were looking at the pictures last week, he has quite the setup there, and I'd love to see it myself. But yeah, there is nothing like fresh Michigan maple syrup, man. Between us and Canada, I don't know if you can get any better. NT0Y, back to that.
And it's those fresh blueberry pancakes to go with it, or waffles, either one. They're both pretty tasty. W8RQS, Steve, a comment.
Yeah, very good image there, Rod. And, I think last week he said it was wood fired, and now I see the wood pile there on the far right of the image. So very good. Yeah, glad you got out there and enjoyed that. W8RQS, back to that.
Yep, it is good stuff out there. WA8LMS, Stephen, comment.
No, this is WA8LMF. Not sure what really to say about it. I mean, I got the picture cleanly. There's a little slant on it, but other than that, it came through just fine.
Now, there was a little piece at the bottom, I think, Rob. I don't know if the program cut off prematurely, briefly, or what, but mine just had just a few lines at the bottom where the picture should have been. But other than that, yeah, really, really nice shot. So, and by the way, who took the picture?
KFHCHS, Jason's wife came out and came out with towards the end of the grand tour.
Okay, got it. Alrighty, W8RQS, Steve, it's your turn for a picture.
Okay, W8RQS. Well, we're going on a tour of some of the national parks. So I'll let you guess which one this is.
that is the beauty, Steve. I'm guessing this is not Sleepy Hollow. I'm guessing out west. Oh boy, I don't know. Montana might be a little too far north. Arizona, somewhere in there maybe.
Okay, Rick, this is like a Cheerio picture, you know. Which national park is this from? And I will say it's out west.
Okay, yeah, it's one of those in there with Colorado. I don't think it's Colorado. Looks a little sandy. Yeah, boy. that would be a teaser question. WDH. Yes, Charles, comment.
I'm not sure at all, and I've been to a lot of them. I was thinking at first Black Hills, but it looks too deserty for that, so I'm going to probably go with saying it's not Bryce either, but I'm going to figure maybe somewhere out there.
Okay, we got one answer there. NT0Y. Jay, a comment.
NT0Y. I'm going to take a guess, and I'm going to say that it is, let's see, how about Petrified Forest National Park? Complete stab in the dark, but yeah, that looks awesome there, and I'm assuming you took this picture yourself, so in which case I need to go on a road trip.
Yep, it's getting that time. KFACHS, Rob, a comment.
KFACHS. So my guess is going to be a little broad. Let's say Utah. Somewhere in Utah. A great shot. And let me know when you're going, Jay, because I'm going to take them off. Back to that.
We got a lot of good guesses there. WA8LMF. Steven, comment.
Yeah, WA8LMF. I'm going to call it as being a Colorado National Monument just west of Grand Junction, Colorado.
That'd be a good guess, too. It has kind of a Grand Canyon look to it, somewhat. All right, Steve, where are we at?
Well, Jay was close with Petrified Forest. This is Painted Desert in Arizona. And actually, I was with my father-in-law when we went down through there. And we went from Painted Desert right on over to the Petrified Forest. So they're in the same area there.
W8BBI. Repeater.
Yeah, I don't see any cacti, too. That would be a dead giveaway for Arizona either. Boy, that's a beautiful shot, though, Steve. Man, oh man. It's calling you, you know? That picture's just calling you. Come on over. Boy, oh boy. I tell you what, too, as an astronomer, Charles and I would have a field day out there setting our scopes up. I think that sky was so clear at night. You could just reach right out and grab those stars. Man, it was unbelievable. All right, WA8 LMF. Stephen, your turn for an image.
Okay, this is WA8 LMF. And this picture is a little different from my usual ones. Every winter, my sister, who lives on a farm outside Kalamazoo, escapes the Michigan winter by spending 6 weeks in Bariloche, Argentina, which is a small provincial town on the western end of Argentina at the foothills of the Andes. It's sort of a resort town and also has Argentina's equivalent of NASA headquartered in it. Anyway, she goes down there and spends 6 weeks on a horse ranch where she's now quite close friends with the owner, and it's both a working cattle ranch and a tourist ranch where the owner takes tourists out on 2 and 3 day horseback campouts in the boonies. And my sister, who's into horses, assists her, so it's sort of a working vacation. Anyhow, she sent me this picture, texted it to me about a week ago, while she was sitting in bed having her breakfast coffee. So she's sitting in bed with a laptop sitting on her lap, reading the Washington Post, and then this improbable composition suddenly popped up, and she fired and caught it on her cell phone and then texted it to me almost immediately. I should say that the apartment she lives in is the same every year. This year has been taken over by 2 mother cats with 5 kittens between them that now hang out in her room and visit her in bed all the time. Anyway, here we go. This is WA8 LMF PD120 when the repeater drops.
Oh, that's a classic. I have the companion to that, Stephen, that you should send her. I'll send it with my bonus round here. With my cat looking back. And I see our fearless leader is eating his tie, which it looks like. So that's a weird picture right there. But, man, what a beautiful cat. Boy, I love those eyes. And his ears, her ears are just perked right up. Man, what a great shot. WDA PDS, Charles, come in.
I really like the picture. It's so cute, those kitty eyes and kitty ears popping up from the screen. That's cool.
That sure is. NT0Y, Jay, a comment.
Yeah, I love that picture for sure. Looks like possibly a younger cat too, and I love how curious and sneaky cats are, and that just goes to show that the cat could have just walked up to you from the side, or the cat could have just laid right in your lap, but this cat decided to sneak up on the back of the laptop and just peek his ears and nose out, and that's my favorite kind of cat right there. NT0Y, excellent.
Yep, I tell you, we got one running around here on Friday, and I've sent a few pictures of him. He's a rascal, I tell you. KFACHS, Rob, a comment.
KFACHS, great picture. My initial thought when the cat started coming into focus, I thought this cat is up to no good.
Yeah, I wish Don were here and his orange cat shenanigans pictures. He could appreciate this. Steve, WARQS, a comment.
Well, it kind of looks like maybe we got a staring contest going on here. And I'm also wondering if cats in Argentina have bigger, taller, longer ears. Good image, Stephen. And thank your sister for that. W8RQS, back to that.
Yeah, boy, those ears, they could probably hear a little mouse squeak from a mile away with the ears like that. Man, that'd be a mouser, definitely. And, that'd be a good place for him or her on a farm like that, a horse farm. Yeah, plenty to chase. Well, all right there. Let's see. We're at the end of the list. Let me make one more check to see if anybody's with us that would like to check in. This is KC8LOQ.
KF8, 8 p.m., Jason and Williamson. W8BBI, receiver.
Jason, hey, good to have you with us tonight. We were just talking about you. Saw some pictures with you and Rob there. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Yeah, sorry I'm a little late to the net again. I had a coach's meeting at 8 o'clock conflicted to this, so I missed the image. I heard you guys talking about it, but I was there, so I know what it looked like. But yeah, I was able to get the last couple images here too, so kind of fun. Just getting wood split, trying to get stuff ready for the next next time I boil. I was gonna do it today and just ran out of steam. I'm gonna do it tomorrow, I guess. So, no, we bottled a bunch of syrup today. The kids have been out selling a whole bunch of it and having fun, and yeah, just trying to enjoy the warmth right now because it's gonna get cold here soon. So that's about it. KF8 8 p.m. Back to net.
Ran out of steam. That's quite a pun there, Jason. So, are you ready for an image? You got one?
I do have one. I'll share and show you guys what damage the squirrels do to these sap lines. It's quite ridiculous what I have to deal with sometimes out here. But yeah, I can share one.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
All right, we'll do Scotty too, I guess, in the repeater drum.
what do they go after? The sap, the sugar?
No, I think they're just evil little rodents is what I think they are. I don't know. They just chew on it. I don't know why they chew on it, but they make a mess of stuff, and they just randomly chew on it. And it's if you sometimes in the wintertime, like if you one year I flushed the lines and put like chlorine water through it. Which was a big mistake because I found out later on that the salt in that, when everything evaporates, the deer will go after that, and possums and raccoons and everything else, and they'll chew on the line to get to that salt. And I only did that 1 year. That was a big mess. I don't know why the squirrels do it. I think it's just they must just be evil or something, hate me, because it is one of the most labor-intensive parts is going through and trying to seal this all up, because we run a vacuum system, and so there's a pump that's sucking all the sap through it, and when there's holes in it, obviously you lose all your vacuum. So we have to button up every single hole, and they make a mess of it every year. KF8, 8 p.m. Back to that.
Oh man, well I read that squirrels have to chew on something with their front teeth, otherwise they grow too far down, and it makes it difficult for them to chew. I mean, when their teeth get too long, they actually have to chew on something to keep their front teeth from growing too far. So if there's something you can put out there as a substitute, they might go for that instead of the pipe. I know in my house in Ypsilanti, there's a lot of walnut trees, and the walnuts shed their shells when the squirrels break into those, and they chew on the walnut shells all winter long, just scraping on their teeth. So I don't know, maybe that's an idea, put some kind of substitute chewing mechanism out there for them to use, but that's just a thought. WDA PDS Charles, a comment.
That I would have never figured they'd even mess with that, but yeah, that would be a total pain trying to track those leaks down so the vacuum pump will work. So that's quite a project.
Yeah, boy, trying to find them too. That'd be a arduous process as well. N20Y, Jay, comment.
I am absolutely no stranger in my line of work to rodents chewing on things. The cable and fiber, internet, and TV industry, I don't know if it's our number one, but it's pretty darn close. When water gets in a cable, it is because of usually one thing, and that is rodents chewing on the cable, especially when it goes through trees. Whether it's up on a pole or it is running in underground and then it eventually swoops back up and ends up in a pedestal somewhere. They need something to grind their teeth on, and I don't know why it would be that. You know, there are all sorts of rocks and trees and just all sorts of stuff everywhere that would be able to help them grind those teeth down, but I don't know, maybe it's just unusual. I know it can't taste good. NT01.
Yeah, the mysteries of nature. What goes through a squirrel's mind? KF8, CHS, Rob, a comment.
KFA CHS. Well, after we got a tour of the operation out there, we did show us a couple spots where some squirrels had chewed through and fixed the electrical tape. So I was going to tap an electrical tape company. They know who goes through quite a bit of it. And to be honest with you, Stephen, I'm quite surprised that there's still squirrels around. Rhonda said, did you see all those squirrel tails on the wall in the big barn? And I said, no, I guess I missed it. But yeah, and I said, well, if you get enough of them, they're actually pretty good eating, but very good pictures. That's it.
Yeah, there's too much area out there to rid yourself of them. You gotta, we're supposed to be able to outsmart those critters. We're humans and we're more intelligent, so there's gotta be a logical method to outsmart those little critters. I'm not sure what that is, though. W8RQS, Steve, the comment.
W8BCI, receiver.
Well, it sounds like we need to put our heads together and invent chew toys for squirrels. I've got an idea. How about walnuts? They sure chew up walnuts around my place. Right now, in the spring, I got squirrels running all around out there, and they're grabbing walnuts that have been left from fall. And they sure chew those walnuts up. Boy, they go through each side of them, get to the meat on the inside. So I guess walnuts would keep squirrels busy chewing. W8RQS back to net.
Now, the ones I have do the same thing, Steve. They chew on the shells. I hear them up in the tree, and it's the weirdest looking sound until I figured out what it was. They were just chewing on the shell. Just, I mean, chewing it to powder, just literally powder on those shells, I tell you. That's tough. Yeah, you think they need dental work before it's long, you know? WAA-LMF. Steven, comment.
This is WA8LMF. They don't just chew walnuts, they hoard them. The year before last, in the spring, I have at the end of my carport here, at the inside end, there's a storage cabinet that's about 2.5 feet deep, floor to ceiling, with a pair of hinged doors on it. When I went in there in the spring, 2 years ago, the entire inside of it was filled with walnuts. They had managed to get into the place through a crack in the floor from underground and had stockpiled an incredible quantity of walnuts. I started cleaning the place out, and it took me 1.5 standard 44-gallon trash cans to get all the walnuts out there. And the strange thing is there are no walnuts on my property. The nearest ones are about half a block away, about 3 or 4 houses down in my subdivision. So they must have been incredibly industrious, schlepping these things all the way halfway down the block to my carport and then piling them up all winter.
Well, yeah, I found many stashes around my house in Ypsilanti. There were these little rascals that just hordes and hordes of walnuts, piled up. Man, oh man, they're pretty industrious. Well, let's see. Puts it at the end of the list here, and I got a picture for everyone. I was, the other day, I got up and I was having coffee in my kitchen. And I looked out the window, and lo and behold, this is the picture I saw. A couple of my antennas are out there, of course, in this picture, but you can ignore those. It's what else is in the photo. PE 120. Francisco, Charles, WGA-PBS, a comment.
You got a good menagerie out there. I tend to see about the same thing with mine. My antenna, but yeah, our deer herds around here have gotten bigger because they're building a consumer energy service center down the street. So deer are getting packed in more. So they kind of like to rob my bird feeder constantly.
Yeah, there was another one also over on the right, but took off as soon as he saw me through the window. They've got really good eyesight, and I tried to stay as quiet as I could. And the one looking at me there, he bolted just after the picture was taken, but I didn't manage to get these two. NT0YJ, a comment.
NT0Y. So, yeah, over in my neighborhood, we have a herd of deer that hangs out on the MSU property that's around here, around the Greeley's and Kavanaugh area. And, yeah, at any given time, we have that sight out of our back door for sure. Anywhere from, I don't know, a couple to 10 to 15 deer out here. And whenever you go out to your car, inevitably you'll run into one and he'll just bolt and scare the crap out of you. I do have to ask though, so I recognize that that's a quad feeler antenna for satellite communications there with the sandbags on them. I can barely see something in the background. I question whether it's even an antenna, but it almost looks like maybe a cobweb antenna in a vertical configuration, almost nailed to the tree or something back there. I almost think it's not an antenna, but curiosity got the best of me.
No, that's an antenna. That's my ELF, extremely low frequency antenna that I use to detect solar flares and emissions from the sun. That's the one that receives the submarine signals out of Coulter, Maine, one of the stations, at probably about 15 kilohertz. And the strength of that signal as it reflects off the ionosphere is an indicator of the solar flares that come through. So I have a long period graph running all the time. So yes, that's correct. You got pretty good eyes.
WHBCI repeater.
All right, Rob, KFA-CHS, the comment.
KFA-CHS. Well, the antenna that Jay was reporting about, you're going to need to move that over about 50 feet. And I think my tree stand's going right there in this November. That's the next.
Yeah, well, not a problem. Yeah, we got lots of room for more tree stands and more antennas. W8RQS, Steve, the comment.
We've got a lot of deer out here as well. Question about the antenna. It kind of looks like a bow tie antenna, or it may just be a square loop. Or can you give me a little more information on what type of antenna it is? Is that a coil around the square, or a bow tie, or what?
Well, that's a loop antenna. It's about 35 to 40 turns of AWG. I think that's 18 gauge enameled copper wire. And there's a coax feed into the house here that I use to pick up the sudden ionospheric disturbances in fish technically is what they're called. So there's a couple of frequencies that I monitor. There's one in Coulter, Maine, and there's another one down in Maryland. And the SID program from, let's see, I think it's not NASA. I've got, if you're interested, I can email you the information. I bought one of their receivers and put it together, and it runs off this antenna. It's got an FFT graph where it extracts the signal strength of the station along probably from 8 kilohertz up to maybe 18 kilohertz. There's a number of stations in there. And I get 2 pretty strong. So I monitor those 2. And then it graphs the signal strength over time. And boy, I tell you, when a flare comes through, it jumps real high, real fast, and then slowly progresses downward. So as the ions gradually disperse their charge, you see the slow release of the charge in the graph. So, yep, that's what it is back there.
Okay, very good. W8RQS specs and that.
I sent some pictures of those way back here. I'll have to put a couple more out there of a couple of flares that I've detected here. There's usually 1 or 2 every week at least, if not every day here lately. So, yeah, I'll make a note of looking up a couple pictures here one of these Sundays and send a couple out so you can see what they look like in the graph. WA8LMF. Stephen, comment.
Yes, about the antenna again. How is that coupled to the coax? Do you have some kind of an active interface at the feed point of the loop, or is it a ferrite passive transformer of some sort, or what?
Ideally, there should be a preamp right there at the antenna ahead of the feet of the coax. But no, at this point, there's just a direct connection right to the coax. And I do get some, a little bit of dB drop from the impedance of the antenna mismatch. But it's still, I get enough of a signal to get very, very good detection on the graph. So I haven't messed with a preamp. One of these days I might add one out there and match the impedance, or maybe tune the antenna with a capacitor somewhat. But it works really well the way it is set up. So I've been happy with the signal. So I'll probably just end up leaving it.
But connecting a balanced loop to directly to a coax, you don't have a problem with an incredible amount of domestic noise in that spectrum getting conducted out there from the house?
Oh yeah, I have a number of other types of signals along the coax, but the signals that I get from the radio stations are much, much, much stronger, way above, probably about 20 dB above the noise floor, which is, especially during an ion storm, they may be as high as 30 dB up, so they stand out really well.
Okay, no, I'm sort of pondering something like that as a new added antenna for Studio B.
Yep, just like I say, 35, 40 turns of, I think about 18, yeah, it was 18 AWG enamel wire. I bought that years ago before the price of copper went really high, so, yeah, there's a number of improvements I probably could make, but the signal is so strong Of course, it depends on the orientation of the loop. As you know, it's most sensitive along the axis, left-right there as you're looking at it. So I get Maine really well. And Maryland isn't quite as large, but I still get really good signals out of them. There's some good filters in the circuitry of this receiver I have. So it seems to work really well.
Okay, no, that was my first thought was ferrite jokes on the coax right at the feed point to stop the common mode problem, but I guess the desired signals are big enough that it's not an issue.
Yeah, probably what would work real well is an audio transformer, an 8 ohm to 1K or one of those in impedance transformation, and hook the 8 ohm probably up to the, my first guess would be up to the coil, and then, or maybe it would be the reverse. I'd have to figure out, how the impedances would work out, but it'd have to be, of an audio transformer down there. I haven't measured the impedance of that antenna. That would be a good first step to see what match it'd be to the 50 ohm or 75 ohmish coax there. But that'd be a good project on the list there, Stephen.
Well, given the wavelengths involved compared to the diameter of the loop, it's got like a mag loop, only far more extreme. The impedance at the feed point must be fractions of a milliohm, so almost certainly you would want the 8 ohm side of a classic tube type audio transformer that's 4 ohms on one side and maybe 5K on the other would only begin to be an impedance match.
What we used to do is a real low impedance preamp and put some resistors or maybe a tuned capacitor out there and an op amp, a 741 or some inexpensive op amp, more like maybe a low noise, I should say, a low noise op amp, and then feed the transmission line with the output of that, maybe with an audio transformer or something. But I tell you, the signals are very, very adequate. So I think the antenna does most of the work here.
Tried using it for broadcast band reception?
No, I have not.
The loops of this size and approximately this number of turns sounds very similar to the loops that were inside pre-war console type AM radios.
That's very true. I remember taking apart some of those in our neighborhood, and the back plate, they had those old Bakelite radios, and they had the kind of pressed cardboard something on the back there with the loop around that. But I get a radio station here. It's 1160 or 1130 that just swamps my equipment here. It's down over off of MLK here, I think. I see it when I come in on 96. And all of my end-fed half wave, and it's everywhere here. So I ended up getting a high-pass filter from a guy, K9DP.com, BCI filter that shuts off everything below 1.3 megahertz. Of course, it's a pretty steep curve, but it's some torus and capacitors, and I think it's a twin T, is my guess. I guess to take it apart and make sure of that. But I'm just inundated with AM noise. I can't imagine probably how much is coming through that coax, but the receiver here that I have seems to do a really good job of filtering that out. So I've been able to get around it, luckily.
I have that issue here in Hazlitt with WKAR AM 870. That's 10 kW coming from the South Campus of MSU, and that tends to blast the front ends in the broadcast band until they sign off at sunset.
Yeah, I know, Stephen. It's just horrible. They should be further out of town. The one here for me, it just swamps a lot of my cables, and my radios take care of it. All the radios I have are pretty good quality, but some of my other equipment here isn't so good. So, especially measuring it, I had a lot of trouble with my antenna analyzer until I was able to put this filter on the end for that frequency, so I could check the resonance. Otherwise, it just swamps my meter. It's horrible. So, all right, let's see. I think it's time for the bonus round here. And Stephen, this is the picture I was talking about that you got to send to your sister if you choose. But I'll send the one out first and give you guys a chance to figure out what you would like to send. And you can comment if you want, or just go ahead and send it. So this is the bonus round. But this is my picture for your sister there, Stephen, PD 120. My cat Riley, doing what he likes to do best and just being there, staring into space, whatever cats do. WD8 PBS Charles, picture.
Scotty, tune is the project I just finished this morning.
Beautiful picture. I love how it glows. It looks like it's glowing out of the center there. Man, oh man. NT0Y, J, a picture.
NT0Y. I don't know how we managed to avoid this, but just west of us, here's what's going on. I'll just try a regular old Scotty 2 and the repeater drop. W8BCI repeater.
How far west?
That is Grand Haven, Michigan.
Oh yeah, I heard something like that was headed this way. Oh geez. Oh well, we'll try not to worry about it until tomorrow. And then we'll do a lot of worrying, I tell you. W8RQS, Steve's an image. man, I see a couple motherboards in there, and a couple of I don't know what. So that's a great picture of art, Steve. Is that one of your closets?
That's kind of a secret interior decoration in the ham shack. So they say there's a fine line between genius and insanity. I'm definitely not past it into genius. I'm just a little crazy. So it's interior decoration.
Well, I like it, and I'm on the fence too. So what are you gonna do? WAA LMS Steven, a picture.
Yes, this is WA8LMF. Now, this picture is a blast from the past. It was taken exactly 56 years ago. This is me at AFVN, American Forces Vietnam Network, in Vietnam, literally living the real life Good Morning Vietnam. And this is me standing in front of a Gates 5 kilowatt FM broadcast transmitter. And I'm holding in my hands a homebrew FM stereo multiplex generator that I built on a dare from some of the other guys at the Trang FM station, who flippantly one night said, why don't you convert the FM to stereo? And I homebrewed this thing out of junk that we had around the station and on the base, and put it on the air. And to the best of my knowledge, this was the very first FM stereo broadcast anywhere in Asia outside of Tokyo. So here we go. I just turned 78 this last Monday, but this was back, as I say, 56 years ago when I was in Vietnam. WA8LMF PD-120. WA8LMF.
W is pretty amazing, Stephen. Wow. That is remarkable. And you probably had to fly in some stereo receivers from the States to hand out to the guys so they could really appreciate that?
Oh, no, not at all, because stereo components from Sansui, Kenwood, it's slipping my mind, the other big Japanese audio manufacturer, they were selling millions of these things through the BX system in Vietnam. So everybody had stereo receivers. But this was the very first time that anyone had ever saw the stereo light come on one of these receivers.
Oh, that's beautiful. I'd love to be there and see when that happens and listen to that. It's remarkable. I know to go from mono to stereo, and they're especially with headphones. Man, oh man, that's a cool picture, Stephen. I ought to be young again too. Man, oh man. KFA, 8 p.m. Jason. Oh, picture.
KFA at 8 p.m. We'll do Scotty 2 on this one.
Boy, this looks like a couple downed trees. Is this your property?
Yeah, it's our cabin. That's actually the Little Manistee River, and apparently one of the neighbors took a picture, sent it to us, and I don't know if it was snow or just wind or what, but it was pretty eroded under those pine trees anyways. They've been leaning for quite a while, and apparently they decided to take a little nap, lay down in the river, so, but nope, it's just a nice picture. I kind of liked it.
Boy, are you going to have to get up there and cut those?
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I'm not real worried about it right now.
Gotcha. All right, guys, time to tie a ribbon on it here. Getting towards the end. Good, great bunch of pictures here coming through. WDA PBS, Charles, 7-3 rounds.
Rick for doing that again. Great job as always. Had great pictures tonight. Really enjoyed it. And by the way, real quick, Rick, what'd you think of the photo class yesterday?
Oh man, I thought it was fantastic. I mean, the expensive equipment though is so out of reach for me towards the end there when he talked about all those mounts and went through all those German equatorial mounts. I mean, thousands and thousands of dollars. I just thought, oh man, what am I, here am I with just meager materials. I don't know how I can compete with that, but it made me inspired to make more of what I have, and instead of going out and spending, what was the one that was $90,000? I thought, yeah, no, it's out of my range. So, well, thanks for being with us tonight here, Charles, and checking in, and hope to see you next Sunday there. NT0Y, Jay, any final comments?
NT0Y returning. Yeah, great net tonight. A lot of variety in the pictures, and good to finally sit down for some period of time this weekend and just be able to enjoy talking to some folks and keep from running around and rest these legs for a minute. Having a lot of fun still on the net, and Rick, you run it impeccably as usual. Can't wait for next week. NT0Y, back to net control.
Well, thanks for the flowers there, Jay. It's always good to have you, and I'm glad you are getting a little rest here. You know, every once in a while, you need to take a break. So take care, and again, thanks for stopping by. KF8, CHS, Rob, final comment.
CHS, awesome net, great pictures. Been watching the radar all through season. There's some nasty stuff coming this way. There's weather radios going off. Keep an eye out on that. Everybody, Jason, you'll be happy to know that the 3 trees that Rhonda had tapped, she retapped, and then talked to the neighbors on either side of her and tapped an additional 6. She has 9 trees dumped in the staff. We'll see what comes out of that. Everyone have a good week, and we'll talk to you soon. 73.
Yeah, I just took a look at the radar. Boy, I tell you, that's a pretty accurate picture you have there of Grand Haven, Jay, because according to this map I'm looking at, it's right around Lake Michigan, just getting on shore, heading west, kind of northwest, or I'm sorry, northeast. The storm is headed northeast in a big line, and it's going to clip us pretty quick if it isn't already. Oh, geez. W8RQS. Any final thoughts?
Not too much into thoughts, but I've enjoyed the net tonight. Enjoyed it a lot. So, oh, by the way, I'm running a different machine here. I'm running the little microcomputer 750, and I just kind of fudged in the audio levels, so I guess it passed Stephen's test there, and I think it's lower or about the same as the other machine. So anyway, had a good time tonight, really good time. And thanks for doing net, Rick. W8RQS, back to you.
Thanks for stopping by, Steve, and checking in. And your pictures were fine. I really didn't even pay attention. It was, they came through nice and clear. Didn't have, especially that electronic picture. I mean, you could see all the components. I could see the fan and the processor and the memory on that couple motherboard right in the center. A couple motherboards in there. I know because I've got a couple just like those. With a fan right on the processor. So, well, again, good. Thanks again, Steve, for checking in. WA8LMS. Stephen, any final thoughts? 7-3 round.
W8CCI repeater.
Just finished just now, sending the picture, your picture of the cat over the monitor to my sister. So right now it's 2 hours later in Argentina. It's around midnight. So she'll probably pick it up in the morning when she gets up. Anyway, back to net, WA8LMF.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought of was Riley in the picture I had of him, Stephen. I was just spitting image of those two cats. They're going, back at you. Staring right at you. Well, thanks for being with us, Stephen, and checking in. It's always good to talk with you and get your expertise there and find out what you've been doing and get some fine pictures. So Thanks again for being with us. KFA, APM, Jason, final comments, 7-3 round.
It's KFA at 8 p.m. Yeah, as everybody says, Rick, great job running the net. You do a wonderful job with it, and it's much appreciated. I know it's not easy. There's some work involved in it, so appreciate that effort. I was going to say, Jay, back to your comment about squirrels chewing on lines, I never even thought about that, but I sympathize with you on that one, because I'm sure they tear all those comm cables up, and that can be a mess. Where the sap lines with the vacuum on it, usually you can hear the hiss of the air going in where the vacuum leak is, so it's a little bit easier if it's quiet out and you're walking around. A lot of times you can kind of hear it and go find them and fix them, but yeah, it'd be a little harder on a comm line. But then the other thing I was going to tell you, Rob, yeah, those thanks for visiting, and those squirrel tails, yeah, those are jacks. All the ones that he's gotten over the years, and we started putting them up on the purlin there and just tack them up there. And I think I need to get him out. We've still got a couple weeks left of squirrel season, so I need to get him out. That's going to be my way of getting rid of them, I think. We do eat them, and they are a pain to clean, even with the tricks that there are to it, and they're still a pain to clean, but they are good eating, though. I do enjoy that. So, other than that, good pictures, everybody, and yeah, everybody stay safe tonight. Hopefully the weather doesn't get too nasty, and hopefully we will see you next week. So with that, 73, KF8, 8 p.m. Back to net.
Well, thanks, Jason, and thanks for being with us here tonight. And good to hear what you've been up to, and know that some of that fine liquid gold is going to be appearing again. So I'm definitely going to want some of that. So set aside a few barrels. So anyway, you take care, and again, thanks for checking in with us. Also, to remind everyone, if you're free Sunday this is Sunday evening. What am I saying? I was going to give I'm losing it here. Okay. Check that off the list. Just forget that. So anyway, guys, thanks for coming in tonight, and hopefully we'll see you all again next Sunday. And we'd also like to thank the Lansing Civil Defense Repeater Association for their support and maintenance of this and the other Lansing area repeaters. I will now return this repeater to normal amateur radio use. This is Rick, KC8, LOQ, signing clear, and catch you down below.
KFA, CHS. Jason, are you still monitoring?
KFA, CHS, this is KFA at 8 p.m. Yeah, I'm still here. Go ahead.
Computer still on to receive?
Roger, I am.
Got it, too.
Oh yeah. Are those chocolate chip pancakes?
No, they're blueberry.
Oh, even better. Even better. I like fruit in the pancakes better anyways. How was it? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I haven't had good maple syrup, home brews like that, and I can't tell you how long. Yeah, it was amazing.
Oh, good. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. That was fun having you guys out too. Let's do it again sometime. Hopefully when we're boiling. We boiled for a while last night, and I ran out of energy. I bottled some stuff today. I made a mess. I made a boo-boo today and spilled a bunch of syrup again, and not a lot, but it was roughly half of one of those bottles at least, I'm sure. But start doing stuff like that, and everything's just. I'll wait and do it tomorrow.
You're right, though, with these higher temps.
Yeah, mine actually ran pretty good last night. And I was expecting it to run better today. It ran okay today, but kind of slowed down a little bit. I'm not sure why, but it'll pick back up again. It should run until tomorrow, and then make sure she leaves her taps in though, because it's supposed to get cold this week. Something that'll warm back up again. She should get another good run then.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. Front of all my pictures.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Rob. KFA, CHM or CHS? Okay, KF8 CHS. This is KF8 APM 73.
KFA-CHS 73.
WHCCI repeater.